Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's Ryan Miller checking in with GST's YQMA episode number 22, where today I bust the myth that scale weight does not matter during a cutting phase. We've all known somebody that has been stalled on the scale, and when you ask them about it, why it's happening, every single time they tell you, I'm gaining so much muscle during this fat loss phase that it's actually offsetting my fat loss. So for every pound of fat I'm losing, I'm gaining another pound of muscle. And of course, why would the scale move? So yeah, the scale's not moving, but I'm gaining a ton of muscle, and that's the reason. Now, anybody that knows a few facts about muscle gain, nutrition, fat loss, ideal rates of fat loss, possible rates of muscle gain, and any aspect to do with a proper cutting phase can tell you that this is not possible. As a natural athlete, it's not possible to offset your fat loss in a proper cutting phase by gaining so much muscle that the scale doesn't move. Pound for pound fat loss versus muscle gain does not happen. And I'm about to break it down and really give you the ammo you need to win in a debate with anybody that insists that during their fat loss phase, they're building so much muscle and that's why the scale isn't moving. Let's talk about actual ideal rates of fat loss for a proper nutrition phase that's based on fat loss, muscle retention, and keeping the client or the user healthy. Ideal fat loss for women falls in that ½ pound to 1 pound per week loss. This depends on current body composition and the aggressiveness of their cut. Now keep in mind that aggressive methods usually aren't as healthy as more conservative methods. Males, being on average a little bit bigger in general, we typically fall in that 3/4 pound to 1.5 pounds of fat loss per week. Again, now, this is focused on proper nutrition for muscle retention during a fat loss. And also, this is dependent on the current body comp of the user or the client. In situations like this, I love math because it really lays out the numbers nicely, and it gives the people that want to learn a great example and visual of what's really happening, what's possible and what's not possible. So if we look at total fat loss per month on a proper nutrition approach focused on muscle retention and keeping the client healthy, we can see that for females, it's going to range in that 2 to 4 pound per month of fat burned. We can see that for males, it's going to range in that 3 pound to 4.5 pounds per month of fat loss. Again, these numbers can vary based on the current body composition of the client or the user, but on average, these are great numbers to go by. Secondly, we need to look at the rate of muscle gain possible. Now, the funny thing is that when you're in a calorie deficit, which you need to be for fat loss, muscle gains are severely halted, if not completely halted. And as you enter a deep fat loss phase where you're getting competition lean, you can actually expect that negative muscle gain, which is muscle loss. So when I talk about this, I want you to keep that in mind. And this only illustrates my point of the fact that when in a calorie deficit in a fat loss phase, gaining muscle at a rate that offsets fat loss is not possible for a natural athlete. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. So just for fun, let's talk about muscle gain in terms of what would happen if this person in a fat loss phase was actually in a surplus. Now for females, if you're gaining a ½ pound of muscle a week, you're doing great. That equates to 2 pounds of new muscle per month. And over a year, that's 24 pounds of lean mass gained. That is awesome. That's excellent. For males, if you're gaining that much, it's excellent as well. But let's just say for males, if you're gaining 3 pounds of lean mass per month, you are doing phenomenal. That's excellent gain. So we're going to use these top-notch muscle gain numbers that are not realistic during a deficit. We're going to use these numbers to prove my point that a person is not going to be able to gain enough muscle to offset fat loss during their fat loss phase. All right, my point becomes extremely easy to prove when we use the numbers that I just laid out for fat loss and muscle gain for males and females. As I go about this, it's important to realize that I'm using top-notch muscle gaining numbers that are not realistic for a fat loss phase. And I'm doing this to really drive home and accentuate my point that it's just not possible to gain enough muscle to offset that fat loss on the scale. So for females, we're looking at an ideal rate of fat loss of 2 to 4 pounds per month, and in an excellent off-season gaining phase, the female is going to gain around 2 pounds per month of muscle. So at the very least, you have 2 pounds of fat loss per month, and at the very max, you have 2 pounds of muscle gain per month. In that situation, the scale would break even. Unfortunately, the female we're talking about is in a calorie deficit, so if she's gaining any muscle at all, it's severely diminished and she's not going to be gaining at that 2 pounds per month rate. Let's say she's gaining at half that, which is being generous. So she's gaining 1 pound of muscle per month, and she's losing anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds of fat per month. Clearly, this isn't enough muscle to offset her fat gains, so point proven, myth busted for females. Now for males, we're looking at anywhere from 3 to 4.5 pounds of fat lost per month. All right, get those numbers in your head because we're going to talk about muscle gain now. Now in an ideal off season, actually in the perfect prime muscle gaining phase, that male is gaining around 2 to 3 pounds of muscle per month. Now, what we can see here is that, again, this male is in a calorie deficit. So we're going to be generous and we're going to cut that muscle gain rate in half, which drops down to 1 to 1.5 pounds of muscle gain per month, while he's losing anywhere from 3 to 4.5 pounds of fat per month. As you can see, this male is certainly not gaining enough muscle to offset his fat loss on the scale. So the scale must move down. It's not going to remain stagnant. It must move down. And if anybody tells you any different, you have concrete numbers based on tons of research and anecdotal evidence to prove your point. You can reference this video. It's simple. And again, I want to really drive home that I'm being super generous with these rates of muscle gain because generally muscle is not gained during a fat loss phase. So if you're not actually gaining any new mass, you're pulling energy away from your body and you're losing fat through that calorie deficit, how is it possible for the scale to go up? Or how is it possible for the scale to even maintain at the same number week after week? I hope I'm making my point very clear, and I really think I am. I think that anybody that understands math, understands how the body works in a surplus and a deficit, can know and really believe that the scale weight matters. Scale weight matters so much. So when a person tells you that it doesn't matter and they're gaining so much muscle during their fat loss phase that they're offsetting their fat loss, you can either know comfortably in your head that something's wrong with their approach and let them go on their way, or if you really want to, upset them a little bit and start a debate, jump in with these concrete facts and these concrete examples, these numbers, and you should be able to easily win that debate. Most of the time, it's best to just be gentle about it and explain to them that either if you're a coach, you can help them, or you can refer them to somebody else that can help them, because something has to change with their approach. And personally, it's not good for a person to be using incorrect information and having incorrect knowledge in their head. Really, they're only hurting themselves, and if you let them continue to hurt themselves, they're just going to keep wasting time and actually getting very little bang for their buck out of their effort. So show them this video, help them. All right, it's Saturday afternoon. I really hope you learned something new from this video, and I really hope it puts things into perspective on fat loss nutrition, fat loss progress, and the rate of muscle gain versus fat loss during a proper fat loss phase. Please subscribe to this channel to gain knowledge daily. Share the videos to spread knowledge to people that you care about. And overall, I really just hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Go out, do something fun, spend time with family and friends, And I'll be back Monday with GST's YQMA episode number 23. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much.